WWF, for the first time, aired Monday Night Raw from Germany. It was a taped show, and this is potentially where you were taken over the edge, I guess, because Vince McMahon decides at that point he wants some different opinions. He wants to broaden the horizons of the WWF, and Vince Russo becomes involved. Vince Russo, who is not here tonight, sadly. But then it all leads to WrestleMania 13. And the reason that I tie all these topics together and we get to WrestleMania 13 is that it seemed from WrestleMania 12 like we were going to get Bret and Shawn the rematch at WrestleMania 13, but the plans changed. Everything seemed to just go haywire.
Was that when he lost his smile or just when he lost his balls?
So I guess
you actually can tell whose side I was on in that thing.
So my long-winded question, and feel free to take it on whatever tangent you choose, is all these series of events, this is in a 1-month period. ECW Invade, Germany taped Raw that doesn't do well in the ratings, and WrestleMania 13 with the Bret Hart-Steve Austin match that wasn't planned, I guess, for that long, but eventually became the plan and became your favorite WWF match. What are your memories of that whole time period and all of those changes happening so quickly?
Jared, would you agree? Vince was grasping because I always thought, and actually I was so close to it at that point, I was hearing it all the time every week. Oh, we got to do something, we got to do this, we got to do that. They're beating us, they're taking our talent or whatever. The fucking guys that left, I think they should have gone. Because that way that opened the door for the young guys to come up and get over that the Austins and the Rocks and etc. Secondly, I think that if Vince had just calmed down a little bit and continued to do the best show he could, the one thing is it got us out of the fucking goons and the plumbers and the bullshit like that, because he was always all over those comedy gimmicks. And Bruce Pritchard to this day, and he was just on my show last week, well, everybody has to have a character so that people can identify with them. They can't just go out and be a wrestler. Of course I identify with a fucking, the goon with the hockey skates on his boots and a T.L. Hopper with the fucking plunger. And everything had to be comedy funny because Vince had, for the first 8 years of its existence, WCW was not a threat. And then when Bischoff accidentally fucking blurted something out and got him to spend some money, it became a threat. And instead of just calmly trying to do the best job he could and run his business, because the office was always more organized, the production company, the studio was always network quality and so much better than WCW's production. Everything about the company except the wrestling product was so much more professional in every way. It's just that they got the WCW brain trust to be a little bit more real and a little bit more credible instead of this hokey Saturday morning 80s cartoon bullshit that Vince had success with in the 80s. If he'd have gone about just doing his business instead of trying the shotgun approach where you throw everything on the wall and see if it sticks, Bischoff was going to burn out because he signed all those guys to ludicrous money. They had to sell out every night to make a profit. As soon as business went down, the same fate was going to happen, because Eric Bischoff, I think, even said one time on one of the promos that he didn't know very much about anything about the wrestling business, but he knew a little bit about everything, about television or production or talent or whatever. He knew a little bit about it. He knew more about it than the WCW brain trust, the executives at TBS. He was able to convince them that he wasn't a wrestling person, and that's who they trusted. The guy that knew the least about it, besides Jim Herd, than anybody that ever been probably in a position, but they trusted him because he wasn't a wrestling guy.
That's why I didn't get that job.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I interviewed for the job, but, after I was so closely aligned with Cowboy, Bill Watts, that, and I'd been there a lot longer than Bill. Bill was only past 3. I got there from the get-go. And I really would like to have had the opportunity to have that role, because obviously it's good for your resume, it's good for your bank account, there's a lot of wins there. But one of the reasons that Eric got the job, hey, look, they beat us 83 weeks in a row in ratings, so he did a hell of a job there for a while. There's no doubt about it. They made a lot of money at that company for a while. was the fact that he sold Turner on the fact that he was a television guy, not a wrestling guy. And I'm not sure he didn't bring me up, but I was perceived as a wrestling guy. So that being a wrestling, it's funny how it works out sometimes in your lifetime. I've had opportunities to do mainstream sports that I didn't get over the hump back in the day because I was a wrestling guy. Then I didn't get a wrestling job because I was a wrestling guy. So you can go crazy about this stuff, right? So I just figured, what the hell? I don't care. I'm going to be me for whatever that's worth. Good, bad, or indifferent. Just be yourself, be unique. And I never played the role of a wrestling announcer. I think that's why Lawler and I worked so well in the Attitude Era, is that we never rehearsed. He would have walked off the job if he'd had to rehearse. He hated it. So we didn't rehearse. We didn't know the finishes.
He didn't write his own TV till 15 minutes before we went on the air live in Memphis. Why is he going to rehearse somebody else's?
There you go. So it worked because we were different, we were unique, and we weren't playing characters. So, but I just, that whole Attitude Era thing was really amazing. But I also believe this. Here's one of the misnomers, guys. You see somebody online, and I do Q&As on my website, and I get this a lot. It don't make error because I've already answered them. You know, it's like if WWE would go back to the Attitude Era presentation, they would automatically be successful. Well, that's crazy. That makes no sense. Are you kidding me? How old are you, 8? You really figure that's the way it's going to be? Yeah, if you could replicate, yeah, so who's going to play the role of Steve Austin? Oh, we ain't got that. Okay, who's going to be your 6'5", 275-pound, unique, ethnically unique man that women and men both like? Dwayne Johnson. Well, we ain't got anybody who can do that either. How about this young 6'10" babyface that has this cool gimmick, The Undertaker? Got anybody? Ain't got him either. So that's the deal. Talent's what it's all boils down to.
And to be honest, give him his credit. Vince, after the Montreal deal, thought he was going to be the babyface. Go back and watch the tapes for the 2 weeks afterwards. Thought he was going to be the babyface. Oh, the fans will all side with me because I did what I had to do. He was the greatest heel in the modern history of wrestling because that's Vince.
Without a doubt.
Take this job and then you got Austin. Take the job and shove it and there you go. And the rest of it, write it Porky Pig and Bugs Bunny. Blow me, blow me, blow me because that's going to draw the fucking money. That's as far as you needed to go, right? And it was all by accident. It wasn't planned, as many of the great things that draw money. But we're jumping ahead of ourselves.
Think about your favorite football team, and here's why they were good. They got players. Players equate to success. And in wrestling, it's not a great creative idea. It's about the talent have got to execute the ideas. A smart booker will not book what he likes. He will book what the talent can execute to that booker's acceptance level. Now think about that. You don't do what you like if your roster isn't able to pull it off. And I think that's kind of what we were able to do in the Attitude Era.
How many times have you been trying to book a card and you said, boy, so-and-so's my hottest babyface, so-and-so's my hottest heel, but God, that match would stink. I got to do something else. Put them in a tag or keep them apart or whatever. That's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you can't make that recipe because the cake won't rise.